fatal thought impact, past painful thoughts. In fact, I blast tasteful thoughts and past. I back up my actions, fact don't ask, grab reactions, jacked attack with every word, then act with class as they hear me snap. I got nothing to lose, cause I fought and felt the bruise. Now I'm not the one confused, call the shots and they produce. I ain't lost, I'm finally loose, pick a new silver excuse. I need the views to boost me to a new abuse of being used. Everybody wants a piece now, y'all can rest in peace now. You're dead to me, so peace out. Remember, you're discreet now. Get ready for defeat now.
Alrighty. Hello everybody. This is Kirusho here, and now. Whenever we last left off, quite a bit of things have happened. Two people from the Pen part of the colony, they wanted to be biologists. They've been studying some of the native fauna on the planet for as long as they've been there. And eventually this little thing to pass time turned into a bit more of a hobby. And then, whenever they thought that they would have the chance to study under a professional in that field of study, they went to go try and do so. However, yeah, things didn't turn out too well because they got exposed to the black goo thanks to something somebody left on the planet. And right now, the colony, everybody that is a warrior, they are currently trying to hunt down the two neomorphs that bursted from the bodies of the two aspiring biologists. Now, with that being said, we do have Deku and Aki. Both these two are currently leading different teams. Deku, he's trying to give commands to everybody in Yautja, and seeing exactly how well they can all respond. Whenever Deku he does at least start to get a few people who do at least ask repeat in Yautja or do just simply try and talk to him back, you do actually even have David. David, while he is going over many things, he decided to try and get out there and possibly try to help. While he may not be on the active hunt for the creature, he is thinking. He has actually asked this question to Deku. If the yautja or even they can't burn down the forest and destroy this thing, would it be possible for him to get active? What do you mean, David? This phenomenon only affects biological life. I am artificial. That's a good point. David, I don't really know. It's not my call. I don't even really command you. I don't even know how you take orders. Well, it's quite simple. As an advanced AI construct, or personality, person, if I am to even say, I take orders from anybody. As long as it does not define my programming, nor go against the codes I have been, allowed to follow, I am able to do so. If it means ensuring that people are protected and safe, it is well within reason to order me around. Okay. For right now, just grab a gun, make sure people don't get scared or, hurt. I guess that's the best you could do right now. But the forest, we can't take chances. We can send you in afterwards, whenever everything's died down. Can we agree on that? That is fine. I will now go to the armory. Understood. Deku going back to his team. As he is thinking, leaping from branch to branch, looking around on his thermal, that this is actually starting to be a little bit better than he thought. He's actually getting quite a different amount of voices. In fact, at this rate they're going at, things could be a little bit easier. And Deku, he actually is listening to radio chatter, since you do actually have where Deku can hear people trying to at least say and explain to Yautja a few other things. He's currently listening to a conversation about what this one word means, and exactly what, Scar said. And the other Yautja or the other humans are trying to explain it in Yautja to him. And Deku, he actually is listening, as he has to step in and talk about how they got this syllable wrong, and it's actually this one. As Deku is going to land on a tree branch and then go to leap again. Deku has currently got his wrist gauntlets. He's got his spear, he's got his sword, and he's got his biomask. And right now, he is wondering about this creature. They don't really have a lot on it. If they're assuming this is similar to a xenomorph, that's all they're running with. but those things are crazy and dangerous. Okay, but then that's also another problem. These things. He's never heard of something bursting out of someone's back. It's never been on record or on file. And spikes popping out of a guy's back? That is a new one. Okay, so is this a different variant maybe? But no, that doesn't explain what their report said. Stark white in color. The xenomorph has natural camouflage with its armored blackened skin. But this one, it's the complete opposite. It stands out. And if that's just skin, a thinner layer than and not armored, this thing should be easier to kill. He actually does have a lot of, well, stock put into this. If his people are able to kill it, then perhaps they can start taking on xenomorphs. Depending on how this all goes, of course. Now, as Deku, he is thinking that. You do also at least have a key. Right now, Deku, or a key, my bad, she is leading her yautja. And she's at least explained many things to certain yautja who were wondering. She explained that right now they are going to be allowed to hunt down a creature similar to a xenomorph. That is what their unblooded will do. Meanwhile, their blooded, they will go ahead and start the process of burning down certain parts of the forest to try and not be infected or allow this thing to spread, since it can do so by just going through your skin. Now, she did at least explain that this is going to be very similar to what they do, to try and draw out certain prey. And as she does at least go over with everybody, you do actually have the unblooded. They themselves are deployed with simple weaponry. And this is where things they do get interesting, as it's basically a race to hunt down these two monsters. And while the humans and yautjas are doing that, we do actually cut back over to Deku. Deku is leaping branch to branch, and as Deku does actually go from jumping from one tree to the other, he does go to land on this one. The moment he does hear something before the branch does suddenly give. The moment Deku did go to step on it, he did go to turn and leap. However, in that moment, the moment his foot was about to step off, all the weight from underneath him, it just fell away. Everything. And Deku, he started to fall down towards the forest, as he actually got to at least turn and go to stab his wrist bracer or his wrist gauntlet blades directly into the tree. The moment he did so, he did go to grab onto it and try to get a better footing, as he did try to find out exactly what's going on. Him turning and looking through his biomask. As, looking through thermal, he can see that there's somebody here. Deku actually going to retract his blades and jump backwards. Him doing a bit of a flip as he's going to smash onto another tree before jumping upwards and high. As Deku, he does look towards the direction. And he does try to ask. Him going to shout, after muting himself on his comms, exactly who the hell is that? As there is no response. And Deku, he does at least inform them. He can see them on his thermal, as he is hiding behind a tree and at least going to reach for something in his belt. Deku going to grab a throwing star, as he does get ready. Him going to deploy the blades with the press of a button, as he is going to look around and see. As the moment Deku does get to poke his head out, the tree is completely blasted away in that side. Deku actually having to jump backwards and off of the tree, as whenever he does so, he does get to spin his body around and get to throw a shuriken in that way. The moment the shuriken goes flying through the air, you do actually have the yautja, who, whenever it does go flying past a tree and stabbing just past them, they do go to look at the weapon, as they do get annoyed, and then go to run out and try to attack Deku. Now, Deku, he does try to keep his calm. He's being attacked by a yautja, so this must be them. Okay, perfect. Damn it, he doesn't have all his gear and they have a plasma caster. Deku going to actually reach down and into his belt. He has another shuriken left, and he really wishes he brought a smart disc. Okay, let's see. Deku going to at least pull the blades out from the shuriken with a button, and then go to look at them. As Deku, he does go to turn it around in his hand and go to get ready. As whenever the yautja, it actually does go from running to the side, and Deku does go to turn his head and see it on thermal, he does go to step to his left and directly fall off of the tree. The yautja going to send a blast at Deku as he does go to smash into and hit the tree branch Deku was sitting on, or standing on. Now, the blast smashes through the tree branch, and Deku, as he is falling down towards the ground, you do have where he does directly go to smash down and land into the cold water below. Now, Deku, whenever he does come stepping up and out of the swamp, he does go to turn and look. Him going to wipe the eye holes for his mask and look around. As the yautja, whenever he is on thermal, he does look down. As he does go from seeing Deku's signature there to suddenly dropping down and into the weird coloration down below. And this actually is kind of annoying, as the yautja, he did start to try and blast wildly. And by the time he did have that idea to start blasting, yeah. Deku, he is actually at least down below and up against one of the trees. Him looking up and going to try and find out where it is. As he is going to step out and with his left hand going to turn and throw. As with the yautja, the blade has come flying through the air. The moment he does notice it, you do actually have where it's already too late. The blade, it goes smashing upwards and directly into his plasma caster. As the moment it is going to try and charge up another blast, it actually does start to glow. As the yautja, he actually is going to bring his hands up and directly go to toss off this part of the vest. Him going to rip it away from his body and going to chuck it down below as he himself does try to leap upwards into the air and away from this explosion. Now, the thing explodes in the middle of the forest, and this actually does catch quite a bit of attention, as there was a loud blast somewhere where nobody else can really figure out. They're not too sure if it's the yautja or the humans, and on both sides they're confused by this. However, you do actually have a key who she does try to radio in on Scar, and figure out if that was him. However, whenever she does realize that there is radio silence, it does cause a bit of problems. She kind of does get a little bit worried, since if that was his plasma caster, there could be a problem. Now, she is thinking about this, and you do have where she's trying to remember. She remembered Scar leaving the room. He took shurikens, he took his sword, he took his gauntlets, he took his spear. Mask, no armor. Her having the realization that wasn't his plasma caster. Whatever just went off, it wasn't Scar's weapon. Her actually going to at least turn and inform the yautja that currently there is a traitor inside the pen, and she believes that Scar is engaging in combat with it. Her informing them to keep an eye out for anybody who is not among their named or ranked. If they see them, assume them to be hostile enemies. Now, the yautjas, they do all look at each other kind of confused. However, whenever some of the yautja who do actually respect a key because of her rank do go to start barking and repeating these orders, other yautja do start to follow. And there actually is back over with Deku. Deku, he actually is going to step out from the swamp and climb up onto some more solid land. As whenever he does look up, he does actually find that the yautja does come smashing down. The yautja actually standing there as Deku does turn and look at him. The yautja, yeah. He seems to be a little bit more pissed off, as you do have where he does go to bring his hands up and go to directly let out his wrist gauntlets. Deku looking at the yautja as he himself does go to respond by doing the same thing. You do actually have over on comms. Everybody, they were at least trying to talk to each other and go through many other things. However, a voice cuts through. It's clear and it is very serious in tone, as to just state one simple word: Mishan. Now, that does catch everybody off guard. As for the humans, it does take them a second to realize what it means. However, for the yautja, they just heard Deku say the word enemy. And that explosion earlier, it indicates there is somebody here. Now, they believe it to be somebody from another clan trying to hunt down Deku. And, most likely, it could be a bad blood. This is something that they themselves may be dealing with now. They knew that the humans, they were stuck on a planet. However, apparently that other species they've been hunting may not have lived up to what they thought. And someone may have heard about Scar. Now, with that being said, we do cut back to Deku and the yautja. Both of them, they are currently clashing blades. And the yautja, whenever he does actually go to try and bring his hand out to slice against Deku's face, he does actually get countered by Deku's blades, as Deku, he does try to fight back against it. He's pushing as hard as he can, and so is the yautja. As whenever the yautja does go to bring his right hand backwards, he does go to try and slash upwards towards Deku. However, Deku does go to block that one. Before the yautja, he does go to move his hand down to the left, and the blades do go sweeping down. As whenever their arms do go down to the side, or down to their left, let's just say, you do have where the yautja smashes his mask against Deku's as hard as he can. And in the moment whenever Deku does go stepping backwards, the yautja is going to try and charge forward with his foot. As you do have Deku. The moment the yautja does go to try and kick Deku directly in the chest, Deku brings his hands up and goes to grab at the yautja's foot. Him going to pull upwards as hard as he can, trying to get the yautja onto the ground. And the moment Deku does, he does go to bring his hands up and go to slash downwards with his blades. Him going to do a piercing strike directly into the yautja. Deku being able to stab downwards into the yautja's body as the yautja does try to hold onto Deku's arms. It's currently holding on to it, and Deku, he's just trying to push down more. Deku trying to push down his body weight with his entire body, as he actually is starting to smash down his own elbow to try and pierce the yautja more. And the yautja, it actually does at least start to speak, as to just tell Deku that he is admirable as a hunter. And Deku, he does at least comment on how it can actually talk, asking why he's here. As Deku is piercing the yautja's skin and pushing the blades in more, and the yautja is fighting back. The yautja at least expressing he was here to kill him. Really? So you bad bloods do still have honor. Now, the yautja just stared at Deku, and Deku can tell, even through that visor, the yautja, it wants to die this way. The yautja may be trying to fight back. However, he wants a worthy battle. This must be what he is. He's one of those bad bloods who they try and die in combat. And they don't rest until they can. And Deku, he does just go to try and bring up his right leg and stomp downwards into the yautja. Deku actually being able to stomp downwards into the yautja's chest and blow all the air out of his body. As the moment the yautja does try to go and suck in our breath, Deku, he's able to stab downwards even more with those blades. As the yautja, he actually is going to shriek out in pain, and Deku, he does going to bring up his left hand. Him ripping the mask off, before he's going to look down at the yautja, and seeing if it's one he may be able to recognize. However, the moment he does stare at his opponent, he can tell by the markings on him, he isn't from the clan he thought he was. This yautja is clearly not from the elder he's been dealing with, and it actually is one he may have never encountered. He does have some relief. So there is the fact that he's never seen this one before. And the yautja, whenever he actually is trying to still hold on to Deku's arms, he does going to try and throw his hands backwards, trying to at least get Deku to get cut in the face or possibly the throat. Since if he's going to be dying from his injuries, he is going to at least kill his opponent with him. The moment the yautja is going to try and do this, Deku, he does go to step offwards of the yautja's stomach. And whenever he does go to press down with his body weight to jump backwards, the yautja, he actually does cut across Deku's mask. And Deku, whenever he does at least feel this, he does go to bring his hands up and grab the mask. As, while it does short out for a second, he can tell that it's at least still working. Him at least going to switch to regular vision and start to talk about how he's encountered a bad blood. It's not one he recognizes, and he's got it on the ropes. And the yautja, whenever it does go running forwards to get Deku, Deku does just do one thing. He brings his hand backwards and behind his back. Him going to pull his spear before directly going to toss it as fast as he can in front of him. The yautja, when it did go to get to its feet by just throwing its hands backwards and trying to look upwards or lean up to sit up and get on his feet that way, the moment he was halfway up into the air, Deku's spear was already straight through his chest and right through the heart. As Deku, he does stare at the yautja before the yautja does just go and stare at him. And it does at least go to hang its face away and look down. Now, Deku, he does at least go to walk over and inspect the body, as he does go to pull his spear out of its body and go to look around. Okay, that's not good. Him going to bring his finger up to his ear. Hello? Is this thing still working? Scar, are you there? Do you copy? Hey boss, are you still there? Come on. Don't go dying on us. What happened? I'm fine. I ran into something. A bad blood. A what? A bad blood. Now, people do start to hear Aki's voice. Her expressing that a bad blood is a yautja who does not fight with honor. And apparently, this bad blood may have been wanting to kill Scar. Now, everybody, they do listen. And it sounds crazy. Now, Deku, he himself does at least go to continue with his hunt. However, he does at least go to bring the body back to the doctors where they can put it down. Now, with that, you'd also at least have a few other things. Deku's more experienced team, they were able to get these neomorphs. They were actually able to catch them before the yautja were. And while the unblooded yautja, they were angry at this, they did at least see it this way. It wasn't a fair hunt or competition because the humans already had a head start, and they knew exactly where to go. Plus, if they were actually blooded warriors, then they'd at least be on the same playing fields, since some of those humans, they have killed creatures before. Now, with that being said, Deku, he is actually proud of some of his allies, and or at least you can consider them to be friends. Now, after the hunt did start to die down, and the fires were starting to actually take more and more of the forest, you did actually have where the bodies, they were brought back over to the science lab. And currently Deku, he's sent some of his people to make sure that everything is still operating normally, and to at least start doing some perimeter sweeps. And this is actually where Deku, him, David, Captain Brooklyn, a key scientist, and even a biologist, they are all currently in the room. And the scientists are at least currently doing an autopsy on the neomorphs. Since, from what you can tell from what's intact, this thing is so, well, it's just that. It's primitive. It's normal. As far as you can tell from biology or even just nature, this thing is a creature. It's some sort of predator, maybe? It seems like it could be. From what they've discovered and even have seen out there, this thing is able to unhinge its jaw. It has a weird thing to do. And, well, its blood isn't corrosive. And that's something that Deku does find to be fascinating. Since that means that this could be a unevolved form of the xenomorph. It could be what they evolved from. And that's actually kind of interesting to a key. As the captain and David, they are at least asking some more questions. And even the biologist, they do have questions from the samples they do have currently in storage. And that's something that Deku, he does look towards a scientist. He informs them that those samples, they are very dangerous. And right now they need to put under complete lock and key. And the scientists, they do look at Deku and explain that they do understand. That they will find a place to store them. Find a place? I want them incinerated. What? No, you can't. This discovery, it's incredible. We have always thought that we couldn't get a sample of whatever was down there. But now we have one. Just, you can't do this. It should only be safe enough. It's sealed inside of a container. And what if it gets out? Those containers can crack, can't they? That is correct. But even then, the other sample of the actual spore, well, the piece of the actual plant, we can at least keep that, can't we? It could be contaminated and still produce that stuff. We don't know. Scar, I would have to disagree with you on this. Deku turned to a key. Ash has expressed that they need to turn over one of these bodies to her father. Since, right now, this is an undocumented species and possible, well, branch in the xenomorph life cycle. Really? Yes, Scar. Along with that, this hunter here. Her turning towards the yautja body, expressing that the markings and everything she's seen on him, they don't add up. And even his face. They are currently trying to scan through archives and match him to anybody they can find. Along with that, they're also at least trying to discover what clan he may have been banished from. And Deku, he does at least go to look down at the body. He can tell this one's a bad blood. And he feels like he's seen him before. It's possible, maybe. But that's just another problem. Now, this is where, after the yautja is scanned, you do have the doctor, who they do at least go to present some evidence to Deku. Upon checking his DNA, it seems strange. And that's whenever Deku, the captain, and everyone else, they do look at the screen. And you do actually have a key, who she does somewhat go to turn away, as the genetic code of this yautja, it's not normal. What? What do you mean it's not normal? Well, it seems like there may have been some contamination. Do you think so? Me and that guy were bleeding a lot onto each other. He got me pretty good with his blades. It's possible that might be it. No. Human DNA, it is present here, but I factored out those variables. What? Yes, well, aside from the human DNA that it is genetically yours, there's more. Some of the things I'm seeing, it's not possible. Well, they don't trace back to the same source. This has all been rewritten. Wait, so what do you mean? You know those theories of evolution? If you want a species to evolve, it needs to take on certain traits. Now, Deku, he at least does go to agree. He's heard about that before. And you do actually have a key who does go to speak up. This is very similar to that. However, these yautja, they are ones that take more than just trophies from their kills. And Deku, he does look towards her, as she'll continue to talk. Explain that these yautja, they modify themselves to be more primal and in tune with their hunts. They believe it is one of the greatest honors they can give their slain prey. Now, this is something that Deku, when he hears about, he has to process it for a second. And he at least does go to turn to a key, asking if she's done it before. No, I haven't. My clan doesn't participate in these rituals. These things, they're seen as unnatural. Certain clans do it. And it messes with those yautja. Many of us believe it too. It's an abomination. It's straying away from what we are. Now, Deku can tell that Aki, she's clearly getting angered by this. And you do actually have where she does go to walk away. Her expecting that she is going to go hunt. And Deku, whenever he does hear about this, he does find it to be, well, yeah. He guesses that she just needs some time to think. He does want to go after her. He wants to chase her, track her down, and make sure she's okay. So he decides that he'll at least wait a minute or two before going to do that, since, more than likely, if he leaves right now, it may cause some suspicion. And that's something that Deku he would rather avoid. Now, whenever Deku he does go to walk out of the room, him going to turn after a few minutes or so of talking, and at least trying to draw this out, he does talk about how he's going to go make the, well, preparations to call the Elder and inform him of this new species. However, you do actually have where he does go to walk out the door to the research lab. Him walking out as he actually is putting something into his gauntlet. The moment he does go to walk into somebody, he does look up, since he was kind of caught off guard. After everything he's experienced tonight, he was just so preoccupied. Yautja messing with their DNA? That's something abnormal, not natural. Him then bumping into this person as he does go to look up. He noticed it was a yautja. Him looking up, as whenever he does go to creak his neck backwards, he has to do so a little bit more, as he does turn up to see a large yautja woman, and he stares at her kind of confused for a second. That's a big lady. You must be Scar. Yes, I am. Who exactly might you be? Hmm? Do you not know who I am? You clearly show disrespect. Should I know who you are? Well, I would hope so. You did spare my daughter's life after all. Deku at least going to think for a second. Aki's mom. Him actually going to bend down and show some respect, as he does apologize since he does not know or has heard of her. I understand that you and my daughter are a little close. You do show or share a friendship, do you not? Yes, ma'am. And you two have slain the Xenomorph Queen together? Yes, we have. Impressive. I wanted to see you for myself, along with talk to my daughter. She has not been returning my messages. Now, would you happen to know where she is? I do not. She left on a hunt. Really? In which direction would you say she's gone in? I don't know. I just walked outside. Understood. Can you talk to her? I can message her. Personal link. That's awfully strange for you to have a personal link to her direct line, don't you think? Not really. We hunt a lot. We communicate and we try and keep things civilized between the yautja and the humans. Especially with the new ones who have arrived. I have heard of that. I was curious to know exactly what you are going to be doing with your species, Terran. I'm trying to lead us into a better future. Our species was wiped out. And a lot of us were displaced. Time dilation and wormholes. It's a lot I expect you would understand, but you don't want to hear and I don't want to explain. Basically, people who would be from my future in their past, Earth was destroyed. And, well, it gets complicated from there. Right now I'm training my people, the Terrans, to hunt down and eradicate the engineers. Bold words from a Terran. Do you really expect this will be possible? I do. I want to get revenge. I want to avenge my people. Gut down and kill every one of those bastards, even if I have to do it with my bare hands and a blade. You are quite savage for a human. You are quite the interesting one. Well now, let her know her mother would like to speak. And if she does not return my messages, I will come here directly again. Now, I will be up in orbit. If she does not come to see me, then I will come back down. Is that understood? Yes, Elder. Deku actually going to stand back up. As the yautja, she is going to turn and walk away. She does walk back over to his ship and go to walk up. as you do actually have a lot of people who are staring at that predator, or that yautja. And many of them, while they didn't want to directly interfere with whatever this was, they were seeing what was going on. One's talking to Scar, so something's happening, right? And many people, after the ship did depart, they did watch the tiny thing fly up into the atmosphere. As Deku, he was thinking about that. Okay, so there's a situation going on now. Shit. Now, we actually do cut over to a key, who she gets a message, and she is going to open it. As when she does look to read it, she is almost caught off guard by an alien, or even just a creature in the forest. However, she does go to look down at it and see what it does talk about. As it talks about how Aki's mother would like Aki to participate in her clan's, well, rituals for the year. And this is something that Aki she does look down at and go to simply discard from her messages, since she knows exactly why she's being asked to participate. And she does not want to be a Lautekali. Now, or I really hope I pronounced that right. It's Lu Deti Kalali or Kalel? I'm not exactly too sure. Pronouncing that it's going to be hard. Anyways, with that being said, she does find this that she does think that it will be highly dishonorable if she does become one of them. And she will essentially be thrown back down to the place she started from. And nobody, they will give her the respect she does crave, the respect that she wants because of the way people have treated her whole life. Now, with that being said, I do hope you guys enjoyed. Have an amazing night. We'll catch you guys in the next part.